softer, dirtier teeth. That may be one of the outcomes across the United States of the next Trump administration. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a top Trump advisor on healthcare issues, says he will work in the administration to remove fluoride from America's water systems. And he doubled down on that in an interview on MSNBC.
You would seek to ban fluoride in the U.S. water supply?
Well, I would advise the water districts that are currently using it that there's a lot of new science out there. And in fact, there's a federal judge decision by an Obama-appointed judge on October 4th of this year in which he's to send EPA back to the drawing board and said, you've never done the safety studies on this. And by the way...
And so what does that look like without debating, without going back and forth on the science?
By the way, it's lowering IQ in our children.
Kennedy says fluoride lowers IQ in our children. Well, not exactly. A study this year of certain water supplies in China, India, Iran, and Pakistan, where fluoride levels are several times the levels in the United States, found that the water supplies with heavy fluoride are associated with lower IQ in children. But the report did not say how much IQ was lowered or whether heavy fluoride had any impact on adults. And again, the U.S. water supplies use only a fraction of the fluoride that's used overseas. And the Centers for Disease Control says that adding fluoride to tap water in the United States is one of the 10 greatest public health achievements in America of the last century. It has cut cavities, hardened teeth, and boosted oral health. But Kennedy, instead of looking for more studies or data to examine if there's any downside to the fluoride levels in the United States, well, Kennedy wants the naturally occurring mineral to be blocked.
What would you, upon January 2025, we're 3 months away here, what would you actually do in your position inside of the White House?
I think fluoride is on its way out.
And how do you make that happen? This is your chance, is what you're suggesting to me. How would you make that happen?
Listen to what I'm saying, okay, and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
I think fluoride is on the way out because of that court decision. I think the faster that it goes out, the better. I'm not going to compel anybody to take it out, but I'm going to advise the water districts about their legal liability, their legal obligation to their service zones and to their constituents, and I'm going to give them good information about the science, and I think that fluoride will disappear.
Fluoride will disappear because Kennedy gives good information about the science. Well, that does not happen very often with him. RFK Jr. has insisted that HIV does not cause AIDS. Actually, it does. He claims that vaccines cause autism. Study after study shows no link. He says mass shootings are linked to prescription drugs. Forensic and scientific studies do not support that. And by the way, on the issue of guns, Kennedy says that Switzerland, which has few shootings, has similar gun ownership to the United States. Well, in fact, there are 120 firearms per 100 people in the United States. In Switzerland, there are 28 firearms per 100 people. You get the point. RFK Jr. is a conspiracy believer on top of his long history of personal problems with drug addiction. Still, he supported Donald Trump in this election, and as we know, loyalty to Trump is all that really matters for the president-elect. So look for RFK Jr. to land a top job in the next Trump White House. His own sister, Kerry Kennedy, is speaking out.
Do you trust your brother to be in charge of health care in the United States, given what you said about your concerns over the future of childhood vaccines?
No, I don't. And that's clear, and that's on the record, and he knows that, and that's very clear. But I think, we live in a democracy. The people have spoken.
And so all that Kennedy's own family members who disagree with him can do is try to warn the public and try to influence the policy debate. Kerry Kennedy is taking her concerns beyond the wild conspiracy theories being peddled by her brother. She notes the Trump transition team is already preparing to help the president-elect seek revenge against critics and political opponents.
Already amassing a list of both individuals and non-governmental organizations that he's going to hand to the IRS on day one and have investigations opened up, not because they've done anything wrong, but because they disagreed with him, that he's going to use the military to go after the American people, that he's going to target Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff. And this is very, very dangerous. for all of us as Americans.
In other words, in the years ahead, bad oral hygiene may be the least of America's problems. Because on a wide range of issues, battles are coming between facts and fiction, between evidence and accusations, between the scientific method and junk science. The Trump administration, thanks to RFK Jr. and a lot of other conspiracy theorists, is already shaping up to be a wet dream for lunatics and extremists. Whether their effort involves banning books, rolling back more women's rights, or getting rid of fluoride, America needs to buckle up and strap in. The Trumpsters are going to try to punch many of us in the teeth, literally. By the way, if you need some words of wisdom as you grieve what is happening around us, check out the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.